However, I look back at it now and I'm like, wow, I paid $65,000 for a degree that I probably could have gotten a comparable degree for $25,000. And I paid that money to feel like less confident about myself in the process, when the whole goal of going to a prestigious school was to increase my confidence and to be honest, to make me look superior. Hi everyone, it's Tina with Picture It Personal Finance, and I am here to help people understand how to make wiser money decisions so that they can do work that they love and live a life according to their own values and their own priorities. Today, it's going to be another story time, and it is the story of my biggest financial regret. Well, it really kind of works with my intro in that I want people to live according to their values and according to their priorities. And part of the reason that this regret that I'm going to talk about is my biggest regret is because it wasn't really in alignment with my own values and in my own priorities. It was actually me kind of wanting to live for somebody else and then also trying to look a sort of way for other people. And so what my regret is that I got my MBA from a top tier school. Now, I have to be honest with you, I was the first person in my family to go to college, and my parents were oh so proud of me. And my mom, she just absolutely wanted me to go big all the time. She was my greatest fan, my biggest cheerleader, and she just thought that I could do anything I put my mind to. I miss her terribly, and I miss that sort of undying support and belief in the possibility of what I'm capable of. As a matter of fact, that's a big part of what my coaching is for the people that I work with, is I hold space for them to think big about their lives. And then together we believe that that transformation is possible for them, and then we work on ways to get them there. Now, that being said, I did want an MBA. So it's not as though I wouldn't have probably pursued this degree either way. I certainly would have gotten the MBA. However, I don't think I would have gotten it from the school that I got it. Part of the reason I did that was because I wanted my mom to recognize that prestigious school. And I also, to be honest, wanted my peers to see that. I think growing up, I was a military brat and we moved around a lot as a kid. I went to a lot of different schools and I was a bit awkward when I was young. And so I always wanted people to see me as successful and as having my crap together and as, somebody that they would want to know and somebody that they could look up to, probably because so few people did when I was young. And because of that, I really, really challenged myself to do things. One of the things was when I went to get my MBA, I lived in the Twin Cities at the time, and I ended up going to Carlson School of Management, which from my perspective was the best school in the region that I could get to. And I ended up paying $65,000 for that degree. I did it on nights and weekends, so it took me about 4 years to accomplish everything because I was working full time while pursuing that degree. But the truth is, there were other great schools there, like Augsburg College. I look back now and I'm like, why didn't I go there? It would have been so much better for me. I would have saved probably $40,000 to $50,000 by going to one of these other schools. And here's part of why my regret really builds, is because once I graduated with that degree, I had already started to get my promotions. Like, my reputation and work ethic had already opened up doors for me at the company I was previously with. And looking back now, I really believe in full confidence I would have hit the same level of achievement in my corporate career without the degree entirely. I didn't end up using the alumni for that school. I still don't use the alumni for that school. It's more of like an antiquated way of thinking that I just don't care about anymore. And so I look back and I think, golly, what could I have done with that money if I hadn't used it on a degree that was really only there to make my mommy proud and so that I could look good to other people. It's kind of asinine to really think about it now, but at the time it was a very real thing. And here's the irony, like the silly twist in it all. And I did well in this program, but I could tell there were a lot of people there that, they just kind of dressed a certain way and they looked a certain way. And there was a part of me that really dug it because I thought, yes, I'm in this circle. Like, everybody here screams success. But at the same time, I really struggled with inadequacy. And I'll give you a quick side story. while I was getting my MBA, this is when my husband proposed to me. So we'd been dating for years. Like we were very slow to commit. Let me just say that. And while he was proposing to me, I was in this weird spot where when he gave me my engagement ring, I remember being like so excited and thrilled for it. It was a 1-carat ring. It's a cushion cut. It's just gorgeous and I love it so much. But I was in this weird spot where when I would wear that ring back to Montana where we were from, I felt like it was so ostentatious and over the top. And I was almost embarrassed about it. I would constantly kind of like be more discreet with it. Like I didn't really want people to see it because I almost felt like it didn't belong there, if that makes any kind of sense. Again, this goes into that idea of like shame over your success and feeling guilty for having more than others and things like this. But then I would wear the same ring to my MBA courses and I would feel like it was inadequate because so many of those women had like 2 or 3, or I'm telling you, there was one woman who I'm pretty sure had a 4-carat ring, and it would make me feel so inadequate. So in this desire to look good to my former peer groups, I was putting myself in a circle of people who actually comparatively to me made me feel like I was inadequate. However, I look back at it now and I'm like, wow, I paid $65,000 for a degree that I probably could have gotten a comparable degree for $25,000. And I paid that money to feel like less confident about myself in the process, when the whole goal of going to a prestigious school was to increase my confidence and to be honest, to make me look superior and to hopefully put me ahead of others for promotion in the company. But I will say this. It was me not being able to afford daycare, and I have a video about this, at the same time as making those student loan payments, because in addition to the $65,000 I spent, I also had still $20,000 in student loan debt from my undergraduate degree that I hadn't cleaned up yet. So in reality, it was the fact that I had $85,000 in student loan debt combined with having a baby a couple of years later and not being able to make ends meet. I mean, that really was like the first thing that kind of like shook me. Well, the second thing I would say that shook me into starting to pay more attention to my money. And after we cleaned up the student loan mess, I still made some pretty stupid choices with my money, but this was like, this was the beginning of me becoming who I am today. So I say that I have this regret while simultaneously knowing that every path, like the path that I took, leads me to the point that I am today, and that I am grateful to be who I am today and serving you guys in the way that I do. However, I still would have liked to have that money, at least the $40,000 back. I could have gone to Augsburg and I could have gotten that MBA for so much less and still got just as far as I got in my career. So for those of you who have this like notion that you need to have an Ivy League or prestigious degree and you don't plan on really leaning into those social networks, I'm here to tell you that it's not really required. You can absolutely go to a community college to start off. You can go to a state college. I would look for the most affordable option, and I would look for the one that will allow you to avoid student loans or take the least amount of student loans possible. So that is my story for today, and I hope that it entertains you a little bit, but also gives you a little bit of insight and helps you with your own decisions. You guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.